Hey miners, how's it going? Today I want to show you whether or not upgrading your motherboard, CPU, and RAM to a later model motherboard and CPU and RAM actually makes a difference in your hash rates. So right now I have a budget build in my rig downstairs, and it is currently mining Ethereum. I was on Zcash, but I switched it to Ethereum. I know on Zcash when I mine it, it's about 305, 315. Sometimes one of the cards goes to 295 sols or solutions per second. And on Ethereum here, this is the first card, and I'm using the monitor on GPU 0, and it's at 21 mega hashes. And the other four cards are about 18 mega hashes steady. This one's about 17. These cards aren't really known for mining Ethereum, but because of the profitability of that coin, I am going to switch this rig to Ethereum for now. It was mining Zcash fine. With DSTM, I was getting, like I said, about 305, 315 per card solutions, and I noticed that I wasn't able to overclock the cards at all using that miner. But on Ethereum here, using the dual Ethereum miner, Claymore miner, I'm able to overclock these cards, and they're all about 400 to 500, well, close to the 500 megahertz overclocked, and the core clock is about 125, 130 megahertz on the core clock side of things, and I'm upgrading it because I've exceeded limitations of this motherboard setup, and it is currently equipped with Asus P5N motherboard. It's got a Core 2 Quad Q6600 CPU and 4 gig DDR2 RAM, and it's been a very reliable board. It is still a reliable board in the gaming community, but it has expired, and I can't fit any more GPUs on this motherboard. I've exceeded the limitations of this board, and I have 2 GPUs still sitting there not doing anything, being unproductive, so I have no choice but to upgrade this setup. So I've decided to upgrade the motherboard, RAM, and CPU setup to a later model, which is a 1151 socket. It's a low wattage G4400 Celeron CPU. The motherboard is a G270P D3HA. The name escapes me right now, but it's a gigabyte. It's a G270 series. I can put 7 GPUs on it. It's got 6 PCI Express slots. I think 3 of them are the times 16, or 4 of them are times 16. The rest are times 3. And I'm going to use an M.2 converter that goes from M.2 to a PCI Express. It's going to be like a splitter type card on that, and it'll house all 7 GPUs on there. And this is basically the before the upgrade. Like I said, I'm mining Ethereum here, and these are the rates, or the hash rates. We'll see what happens after I upgrade it. I will continue this video. So before I go ahead and upgrade a motherboard, what I did is I went back into MSI Afterburner and I messed around with the settings a bit more, the power limit, and I was able to get a couple more mega hashes. The first card 23, that seems to be the max, and the rest of the cards 19, and was not able to get any more than 19 out of these the rest of the cards here. So technically, before I go ahead and upgrade the motherboard, these are the max settings. So let's do that. Hey guys, so I'm back with you again, and I just finished installing the new motherboard, RAM, and CPU into my rig downstairs, and I loaded up the dual Ethereum Claymore miner, and it's currently hashing away at Ethereum. As you can see, the hash rates for all the GPUs. It's the same GPUs from the previous motherboard to this one, because I wanted to keep it at a level playing ground, and it made no difference at all in the hash rates. If anything, I got 0.2 of a hash, but that's about it. I was able to overclock it a bit more and it's still running stable, but those minuscule megahertz did nothing significant to the hash rate. So if anything, what it did help is with the wattage consumption. I think that's partly due to the fact that my last CPU I was using was a Core 2 Quad, and that had a TDP of 95 watts, whereas this one is a G4400 Celeron, which the wattage is 54 watts, I do believe. So at the wall, it's at 640, 660, and previously I was getting about 750, 760. So, I saved myself 100 watts, and I think that in itself is a savings. I might not be progressing in the hashes. However, I gained in other areas or other factors. At the same time, I was able to put 2 more graphics cards onto my motherboard. So that in itself is the main reason why I had to upgrade it. But I just thought I'd make a video to see if it actually made a difference. And so those of you who have a budget rig setup and you don't need to add 2 more graphics cards, you're happy with your setup right now, and you're thinking that, hey, maybe I should upgrade my motherboard, maybe I'll get better hash rates. I think I've made it clear here that it makes no difference to your hash rates. If you like this video, by all means, like and subscribe, and as always, pay it forward. Thanks.